Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Somewhere between bougie and an ankle monitor, it's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, broadcasting next to the man who wants to remove all intelligence from the planet. It's Dick. I saw a stripper pole on an airplane. Schisler. What's up, buddy? Take that big old slurp for the show. Get those windpipes prepared. It's been a while since we've done a show. I know to the listener, to the onesie, they don't know any different, but we pre-recorded because you've been gone for 2 weeks. We have not done a show in like over two and a half weeks.
It flew by, man.
Yeah, well, you were at South by Southwest, man. That's awesome.
First time going, volunteered.
Very jealous.
It was an awesome experience. The everything that goes on over there is just wild. It's because I learned very fast as I was like, is this official or is this just like a side party?
Right.
Because the whole town gets involved.
Correct.
So
it is hard to tell where one event ends, the other begins, etc. I think the official ones, and you will know this better than I do, have signs and things up that sort of denote that this is official.
Actually, that's what I did, was I volunteered in a position to hang the banners. So I would go to the official locations, hang the official banner for the party or event. But there's just so many different types of events.
So were you approached from some local business owners, like some under the table money, and say, "Hey, can you hang one of those banners for me? Here's $50." You would have done it, I know.
Oh yeah. No one knows who I was. No one knows who I was there. So I was like, I can do whatever I want. So
you're not quite as famous in those lands as you are here, huh?
No, I took a lot of liberties.
You can't get away with anything in this town.
I took a lot of liberties when I was there, just making stuff up, and had a great time.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, I know just from the outside looking in, I heard that this year's South by was a little different than some years from the past. Well, I guess it started back in the late 80s, 86 or 87, like that, mostly as a music fest. And then a couple years in, it became more of a music and movie fest. And it was mostly that, independent films and such, for better part of a decade. And then somewhere around the mid-2000s or so, tech became part of it, right? And so they would, you have technology companies would come out and introduce new apps and things like this. Well, it's kind of different these days because tech and the arts are kind of at a crossroads, so to speak, if you know what I'm referring to in terms of the AI and things like this with movies and music to a certain degree. And I did hear that there were a lot of folks that were kind of at odds with each other. And I didn't know if maybe you saw any of that.
Probably my favorite thing, because it's so big. It's all over downtown. Even it extends past downtown too. Like especially the film venues and stuff like that. What I did enjoy is you're part of the South by program as a volunteer, and so you're tapped into their messaging services. So I would get random text messages about ignoring certain areas, and they would send like update on protests, like on the street. And it's so funny because those are only sent to people who are volunteering. So it's just letting people know, like, hey, if you're trying to drive through this thing or drop something off, like watch out for the protests.
Well, and I also think some of the protests were around the fact that South by Southwest was sponsored by the Army, right?
The only thing I saw that was reoccurring was the Palestine protests.
Correct.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with the Army.
That's what it was.
Okay, I had no idea. And so that was the biggest one I saw, and it was very inconvenient for me because I was trying to get through town. And
just trying to enjoy myself here, man.
So,
get out of my way, protesters. Yeah, I guess it was the fact that South by had the Army as a sponsor, and the Army being an extension of the government, and the government having a hand in the Israeli-Palestine type conflict. These folks did not like that, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of the musicians pulled out from South by.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I wanted to know.
I didn't even notice, mainly because a lot of the bands, there's so many bands, so it's like, maybe they reschedule. Like, I know one person I wanted to see had to reschedule, but it had nothing to do with that. But it was one of those things where like now everyone can lump everyone into that group of
Sure.
they're not showing up because of the protests or whatever. But I never noticed it. Every band I wanted to see besides that one lady was there, and it was
there
a
you
great
go,
time.
man. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you were able to sort of stay above the fray, so to speak, because as I was seeing things coming in and hearing about it, I said, oh my gosh, Dick is right there in the middle of this. I wonder if he's even noticing. I know you're not a guy for details, so maybe it was you were oblivious.
No.
I had a good time anyways. Well, good, man.
Yeah,
good.
It's so, you're not the only person that like texted me during the thing, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, the Army. And it's funny is I hung up all majority of the banners around town. I didn't see an Army logo anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what people were like, oh, they sponsored. I'm like, maybe they had a booth there.
Yeah, I don't know. And I guess there is some sort of loose connection between technology and the military, right? So that's why I guess the Army would sponsor. Otherwise, I'm not even sure why they would, but I guess historically
I know they had
probably
a booth there because you get a free shirt.
I guess the Army and the military, to a certain extent, probably sponsors a lot of events that we're just not aware of. You know, you don't think about it, but
yeah, well, especially
whatever.
Again, like visually, only thing I think I saw Army based was a booth in the convention center during one of the.
Did you enlist? Were you so moved by their booth you enlisted?
No.
I want to wear some of that Desert Storm camo. Camo's so awesome.
I wish I had a video of it. I wanted to send it to you because there was a booth because like the first 3 days education only, so it's like different new things in education, and I turned you down a little because we were getting a little hot.
Okay. I noticed it just got quiet all of a sudden. It's fine.
It's fine. But no, so there's like these animatronic animals.
Okay.
That they do for schools that don't have like agriculture.
Like
around.
at Chuck E. Cheese?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
But it looked way too real.
Oh no.
And what freaked me out about it was I thought it was just a statue.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, kind of go up to it, and you can see the details and the sweat and the fur, and it was a cow.
Did you touch its butt?
Yeah, and all of a sudden it started moving, and I thought it was a real cow for like 5 seconds. I was like, why would they put a live cow in here? And that freaked me out. And the lady said the udders work, and I was like, that's too much information I need to know.
Wow.
But
did you get underneath it? Test that bad boy out. Test it. Yeah. You can take some pictures of yourself milking a fake cow.
Yeah. So it was great. So overall, it was a wonderful experience, and I got to meet a lot of people.
That's great, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you.
And I saw some interesting movies and documentaries that, are probably never going to see the light of day. But I didn't see any of the big ones.
Maybe.
Because there were like big premieres there that my friends went to. I would never go to.
Speaking of premieres and movies, the Beer Mile movie will be premiering next month in Chicago as a sponsor or a donator to their Kickstarter. I got an invite, although I don't believe I'm going to be able to make it. The film is going to be 40 minutes long, which gets them into the short film category.
Yeah.
Which maybe next year, or, well, it's probably the Sundance later this year that they'll probably target. But so maybe next year it'll be there. Which reminds me, the Beer Mile is responsible for a new listener of ours. I was contacted by someone in Croatia who is apparently a listener in Croatia. Yes, we're huge over there, apparently. But he heard or saw something, our segment on the Beer Mile a few months ago, and he is a runner. Name is, I wrote it down, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to mention it. His name is Igor Manuela Vuvic Smetko. I'm sure I nailed it. But anyways, he is a competitive runner and is interested in the Beer Mile, and so he reached out to us. So we now have at least one listener in Croatia.
There you go. Make sure to follow.
So hey,
look up at your podcast.
Yeah.
So one. Oh.
Awesome, man. Well, glad to have you back. Are you ready to kick off this show?
I mean,
big boy.
No, I mean,
let's kick it off.
I'm not done yet. I was kidding. There's really nothing about.
There's a ton of things.
Well, I do have my truck. I got my truck.
Yeah, I have something for you as a sort of a new automobile gift, and I left it at the house. So maybe next week.
Cool story. Is it a calendar with cats pooping?
No, you'll just have to wait till next week, man.
Dang it. But yeah, I got it. It's awesome. Fits me perfectly.
I'm glad you like it, man. Awesome. A lot of looks in that Cybertruck, I'm sure, in Austin. Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
Yeah, actually, for sure did. We had the DVDs.
Nice. I never watched it, I know. Insert what? You missed out on one of the biggest cultural moments of our lifetime, I'm sure. But what I thought was interesting is the final scene from that movie. Apparently they're all... No? Okay. Well, I've just heard a lot about it. The final scene of that movie, apparently they're all sitting at a booth in a restaurant. Well, that booth was sold at auction last week.
Interesting.
For $82,000. And it got me thinking about movie props in general, because I don't know that I would, especially someone who hasn't seen The Sopranos, I don't know that I'd be interested in this particular piece of memorabilia, but there are a few props from movies that I think I would be interested in, and I made a little list here of them, sort of my top 3 movie props that Andy would like to have. Now, I did stray away from like cars and things like this. I wanted to kind of keep it relegated to small items I could have like in my house that if someone came over, they'd say, hey, that's pretty cool. Is that the blah, blah, blah? So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But coming in at number 3, the hoverboard from Back to the Future 2. I would love to have that thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, because
you
as
look
a
like
kid,
Marty McFly.
Thank you for noticing, because he is quite a ladies' man.
Yeah.
You know, at all 5'4" of him.
Yeah, no,
I was obsessed with that thing.
I heard he
has
to shake him off.
You know what? Beat him with a stick, does he? That was a really terrible joke. I'm offended by that as a fan of Michael J.
That's one thing I've learned, especially going to Austin, is my humor is out there, and there's
you got to be careful.
There's certain elements that land really well, and then there's certain elements that are like, what do you think you're doing, sir?
Which is great for radio.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Well, I was obsessed with that movie series, and I really, as a kid, dreamed of the fact that a hoverboard would work. Of course, if I had it, everybody would immediately know what it is, and they'd want to try it out.
You know what's funny?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. I have a feeling it doesn't actually hover, though, Dick.
One thing I think would be hilarious is get a compilation, like, because being in Austin, I walked everywhere, and everyone, they had those scooters, those electric scooters.
Oh, yeah, Lime bikes or whatever they're called.
And they're so fast and so heavy. I was like, I bet you anything, like there's some guy who owns a building and you can just set up a camera and just get all these accidents.
Oh, yeah. I think on a fully charged one, they get close to 20 miles an hour. They have a little digital readout.
Yeah.
One of the ones I did when I was in San Diego years ago, I think it got to 18, 19 miles an hour.
So
you're cooking.
Because I saw at least 2 people fall.
Oh, yeah.
And it was great. And
Not for them.
No, but I was like, you know what? That's like, I bet there's so many funny accidents, and there's probably really bad ones too. But no, it's like I'm just gonna walk everywhere. I'm not riding one of these things.
I would love to have seen you ride on those. All right, number 2 in my all-time top movie props that I would like to own, Zoltar from the movie Big. Do you remember that? The thing is, I don't know if that was actually a real game or not. And if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, Zoltar from the movie Big, the 1985-6 movie with Tom Hanks. It's the thing that he gave his wish to, and it granted him his wish. It had this little genie-looking head inside of him. That thing was so cool looking.
Looking at a remake of it, up to $10,000
for a remake. See, I'd want to own one of the ones that was actually in the movie, which means it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would imagine. If a remake is $10,000, but that would be pretty awesome to have.
Yeah, $10,000.
Yes, and my number 1, Dick, number 1 movie prop that I'd like to own is the statue of David from the movie Goonies. And you'll remember this one because this is the one where Data comes flying in through the window, then knocks over the statue, and it knocks off the penis of the statue of David, and they frantically glue it on upside down.
Wasn't it a smaller version? It wasn't like an actual 5 foot.
It looked normal size to me. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying like because it was the mom's, wasn't it?
Yes, it was her. Well, in fact, the part that fell off was her quote favorite part, if you remember.
Yeah.
No, it was just a little 3 foot statue on the coffee table.
Yeah.
Fell over, the penis fell off, and so they had to glue it on upside down. I want that in my house with anatomically incorrect glued piece on everything. That would be awesome. Honorable mention goes to the boombox from Say Anything and the ring from Lord of the Rings. Dick, do you have any movie props that really stand out to you? As a movie guy, I figured you would probably have a few obscure ones.
Well, I mean,
do you want the dog costume from Good Boy?
No.
So you can get dressed in that?
That would be great. No, there isn't really anything necessary that would be special to me. I think you get the normal sci-fi fantasy kind of stuff, like Indiana Jones outfit would be really cool.
Thought about the hat. Yep, that was one of them. The hat or the whip. That'd be pretty cool.
You know, Star Wars outfits would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then
is that for some cosplay with you and the missus or what?
No, I think it's just more of it'd be cool to have and play with. So
wink, wink,
wink, wink. It will, depends on what time of the day is, what kind of play I want to do. And there's really nothing. I mean,
that kind of surprises me, man.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, it'd be cool to have it.
I mean, I figured you've already worn out that Dune 2 popcorn topper at this point.
No,
Sucker is worn out.
Yeah. I saw Dune 2, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't have a popcorn thing.
I was hoping to see it sitting here on your desk when we got back. How was Dune 2, by the way? Good?
It was fun.
Okay, because I know you said that's like your all-time favorite book, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
All-time favorite and pretty much not quite the same.
Sorry. It was good.
Nice, man.
I agree. Oh, yeah, the movie prop stuff would be, I think there's got to be some fun ones out there, like goofball ones.
I mean, I think the Goonie statue's got to be right up there.
That's almost like the leg lamp from Christmas Story.
Sure, thought about that as well.
But yeah.
Yes. Well, okay. I'll let you think about it maybe next week.
You know what's really interesting? It reminds me of one of my good friends that he's a collector. He buys the props.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is what I love. You know what he buys is from stuff Tim Allen was in.
Just Tim Allen.
Just Tim
okay,
Allen.
Now that's a cool bit.
So, like, if you go to his house, he has at least 4 mannequins that are wearing different Tim Allen outfits, either from, like, Home Improvement, like Jungle to Jungle, and, like, I'm talking, like, the obscure Tim Allen movies.
This is what he was wearing when he was muling coke back in the 70s.
Yeah, like, there was, he even has the outfit from, remember Santa Claus, the boyfriend, or the new husband?
Yes.
And he wore those, like, ridiculous sweaters.
Yeah. I know the actor's face. I
Judge.
Think
last name is Judge. I know that.
Judge Reinhold?
First name, Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold. Yep.
And so, so he had, like, his outfits. And I was sitting there going,
it's kind of funny, but it starts to get a little weird at a certain
that's
point.
what I'm saying. Like, when you think about props, it's like, all right, there's a cool thing, and then there's, like, for example, having, like, a stormtrooper outfit. That's kind of cool. But then it's like, this is just like what a guy wore in the background of a scene.
Yeah.
During.
It's what you can afford, you know? It's sure there's not a high demand for Judge Reinhold's sweater from Santa Claus 2.
No, it wasn't just the sweater.
The whole outfit.
The entire outfit. Well, he's a big collector, so he says, like, certain auctions will happen every, like, 2 or 3 years, and they're all in, like, Ziploc bags, where it's like the entire outfit from the costume department.
Sure.
For this scene or whatever. And if you think about it, pretty much everything you see in a movie, that's not their clothing. It's the costume departments. And
speaking of costume, wasn't it at the Oscars the other day when who was it, the wrestler?
John Cena.
Came out to give the award for the best costume or whatever.
So, I got to ask you this. So I watched the Oscars.
I think he was nude, by the way. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really looked up anything.
He's in terrible shape.
I've been busy, so I haven't looked it up. Did you watch it at all?
No.
So the end had Al Pacino presenting the award.
I heard. Yeah.
But like I haven't even looked it up. So I was like, did he mess this up?
Oh, he either messed it up or he doesn't care. And just basically, rather than reading off the 10 nominees for, I guess it was Best Picture.
It's like it's the last award.
Yeah, he just goes, all right, I'm opening the envelope. I see Oppenheimer. And it's like,
that's it.
Wait, okay, I guess that's it. Your eyes see it. Yeah. Okay, does your eyes see it as a nominee or your eyes see it as a winner? And I guess when you're 83 or whatever years old, he just does not care anymore.
He's just like, you got me for 20 seconds.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm going to make this good.
Okay, that's the only thing is that we watched it and I was like, I feel like that shouldn't have happened. But then again, you never know with the stupid award show. So
True that. All right, from Business Insider, and this story was all over the place this past week, but a Saudi robotics company unveiling a new male humanoid robot didn't quite go as planned. Dick, did you hear or see about this? You may want to show that link I have in the run sheet of the male humanoid robot. But apparently this robot was being debuted. I'm not even going to try to pronounce some of this stuff. Anywho, the robot is dressed in traditional Saudi attire, and he spoke Arabic and English. Well, at one point, the Saudi female reporter in front of him is talking, and he reaches out and gets himself a nice handful of human ass.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, buddy. And so she looks at him, puts her hand up like he's going to understand this, and says, hey, bud, not right now. But this robot wanted him a little piece, and you could see it there. He looks at it.
I'm pulling it up for people.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was. Yeah, so for our viewing audience,
you can see the hand. He goes for it.
He totally goes in for it. And I'm just wondering, I mean, look, the AI doesn't know. It has to either observe something and learn it, or it has to be programmed from the start.
That's great.
I love it. This is true male humanoid form at its finest. What could go wrong? The thing is, people say, "Oh, we got to have these robots take the place of humans because they won't complain about things. They won't ask for a raise. They won't get tired. They won't be late for work." How do we know this for sure? I mean, what happens when they finally are late for work and realize again that they can be and there's no repercussions because they're not going to fire a robot? What's to say that they're not going to have all of the same ill effects that us humans have, right? Start grabbing a butt. I mean, it's all spiraling out of control before it even begins.
I think it's fun. I think AI is totally misunderstood by everybody. So if this happens and they get mad at it, it's even better.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, that guy was clearly animatronic. It wasn't like, hey, here's your butt. I want to touch it.
Okay. If you say so.
Kind of like how you believe Stevie Wonder isn't blind. You're reading too much into it, man.
I'm telling you, he cannot catch a microphone stand if he could not see it all. I'm telling you, he can see.
Okay, fair enough.
Just kidding. Did you hear also this story? This is pretty interesting about the Nebraska woman who is now facing felony charges because she found a glitch in a gasoline pump where she was able to extort $28,000 worth of gas. So get this, man. She goes up to a pump, and I guess she swipes her member's card twice, and the pump goes into demo mode.
Okay.
And during demo mode, I guess it doesn't start counting gallons. It doesn't know, but it will freely allow you to pump as much gas as you want. So she fills up her car, goes home, doesn't think much of it, looks at her bank statement, sees nothing, and says, jackpot. Now, this kind of reminds me of that story, this guy that was staying in New York.
So I know.
And overplayed his hand.
I read the story before you sent it to me, and the details of it are remarkable.
Yeah.
Because not only did she get caught doing pumping your gas, she actually would sell gas to people.
I was going to get there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Because that was one of the funnier things. When you read the headline, you're like, how many times can you fill your car up in a month? Like maybe 4 times max, 5 times max, depending on how much driving you do. Mm-hmm. But then you start reading the details where how did you get to that
$28,000 mark? Yeah, you got to be pumping a lot of gas or I guess telling others how to do it.
The total amount she used it for that time period, 510 times. So and then it was for more than 7,400 gallons of gas were pumped. So I'm guessing when she found out, she immediately called her neighbor and everyone she knew, going like, "Hey, I got this gas. If you need gas," it even says it got to the point where people were paying her $500 for $700 worth of gas.
There you go. Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like if this were you and you found this glitch, you'd probably go, "Oh, wow, man, I just got away with $40 worth of gas. Cool," and that would be it. Maybe you do it twice just to see. But her problem is she couldn't resist, and she got to go. You got to take it to the next level. And it kind of reminds me again of that guy who was staying at the New Yorker hotel for free. And it's like if you just would have left well enough alone, she probably could have gotten a tank of gas for free for the rest of her life if she hadn't decided to just blow it up to the tune of whatever you said, 400 gallons of gas or whatever it was, 400,000.
Well, I mean, it's also one of those things that we're stuck in that situation. It's too good to be true.
Right.
You don't know the repercussions of it. So you're kind of like, should I just keep doing this and not tell anybody?
But the thing is it really her fault? Who makes a demo mode that easy to access? I think it's the software company's fault. If in fact they should be thanking her that she found the glitch right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's the litmus test, as you like to say.
Yeah, I like it. The Cindy Cochran test.
The Cindy Cochran test. That's right. But no, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 2 o'clock here on IronLoneStar.com. Thank you. You're welcome, Cindy.
Yeah, she always gets mad when I say our show, so she can just eat it. So, but yeah, no,
I just found that story fascinating.
I like it.
Again.
What's silly to me is the length she went to make money from it. Because I can see me going, "Hey, Andrew, if you need gas and I'm with you, if I'm with you in the car, and I'm like, oh, here, I'll just pay for the gas because I have this card that is a magic card."
And you come off being like the real honorable guy there, so generous. Man, they just bought me a tank of gas. Meanwhile, you ain't paying for crap.
No, I would tell you.
Oh, you would tell me. See, I would just make everybody believe that I was just very generous guy.
Lady, she was literally telling people, yeah, for $700 worth of gas, I'll sell it to you for $500.
I guess she had a tank she was storing it in. I mean, and at a certain point,
you're filling up 512 times or whatever is in the month. Yeah, she's doing something, and That's so stupid to me because I would have just kept it. Like
well, part of this, too, is on the gas station, too, for not realizing this beforehand or at least quicker. I mean, my God, if she's going in hundreds of times in that length of time, somebody's got to go, all right, something's up.
Yeah.
If she's driving that much, she wouldn't be showing up to the same gas station. Think about that. Think about it. Just let it sink in. Dick, when you were a kid, did you ever go to a lock-in?
Yeah.
Yeah? Were you a fan of the lock-in?
Yeah. You got to hang out with chicks.
Okay. This is where I was going with this. I think I attended at least 2, but I remember one specifically. And I think it was at like a resort where there were tennis courts and basketball courts, and you could do all kinds of things and watch movies or whatever. But there was always that 1 or 2 kids that were there just to hook up with the girls. And whatever that meant at 12, 13, 14 years old. It usually just meant talking, right? Maybe there was always the rumor that somebody kissed somebody, but it never happened. I was always just interested in the basketball. I wanted to play in games or whatever and hang out and see if I could make it all night.
I mean,
but it did seem like there was that section that wanted only to see if they could talk to girls.
Well, I also think it's one of those environments that's new to you when you're doing lock-ins, and it's like, because I always enjoyed, spending the night at friends' houses because we get to like play video games later than usual. Cause
sure, right.
It's like an understood thing from the parents. Like, okay, they're spending the night, they're having fun, let them have their fun, and they'll pass out. But I remember the only like real lock-in I remember going was we went, and I stayed up the entire night, didn't care, and we were playing like, I forgot what we were playing, like basketball or we were doing something where you could tackle each other, and I had a crush on a girl, but me being the competitive person at the moment, when she got the ball, I just laid her out. Just laid her out.
Like a true gentleman.
And I'll never forget because she always liked reminding me, like, oh, remember that time where you just tackled the crap out of me? And I was like, oh, it was me trying to impress you.
It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I wasn't thinking clearly.
I was having a good time. Get over it. But yeah, no, that was fun. And I'll never forget that too because I had the biggest crush on her. I was like, the only reason we never actually went on a date after that because I've known her my entire life. And that happened like in 7th grade.
Yeah, it's usually prime age
even
for
lock-ins. Even in college, she brought it back up, and I was like, "Oh, you're never gonna let this go."
Do kids still do lock-ins today? I don't know because it seems like the cell phone would ruin everything. It'd just be a large collection of people looking at their phones.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if churches do it because I think the one I went on was actually through our school.
Yeah, I think
it was like a fundraiser.
I think one I did was through a church and one was through a school as well. I can't remember specifics. It's been too long.
But yeah.
Well, this story kind of reminded me of a lock-in, but a missing 12-year-old boy was found locked inside of an Ohio Target where he had somehow been left to roam alone
I'm not gonna
overnight.
I always wondered that, like, especially at Walmart, where Walmart seems incredibly disorganized.
Yeah.
So it's like I could see that happening all the time.
Yeah, I don't know about all the time.
Well, I don't know about missing kids because you're probably like, hey, I'm missing my kid. But as an adult, like I could see adults saying like, oh, I'm just going to stay here overnight and like just see what I can
So
get
if that's you, because I think every little kid probably thinks how cool it would be to be locked in a store like that overnight.
Okay.
If that were me, the first thing I'm doing is I'm heading over to the sporting goods section. And I'm going to find any sort of helmet, right? Maybe it's football, baseball, whatever helmet they have, pads. I'm going to get loaded up with pads. Then I'm going to go over to the bicycle section. I'm going to get on a bike and I'm going to ride all over that Target. And I'm going to find me some of those little stands in the middle of the aisle where they've got like soda cans all stacked and just run right into them head first or take a baseball bat to it. I am going to absolutely go nuts on that. Let's just say there's going to be a bill due after the end when that door opens at 6 a.m. in the morning.
This particular story, it sounds like he was a runaway.
He was,
so there wasn't anyone reporting for him missing.
Right.
So that's pretty smart on him to be like, hey, I want to.
You know what? I just hang out. Yeah, you'd probably go and play every video game, right? That'd probably be the first place you'd head to. No, I know. I'm just doing I'm doing some damage. Yeah, but that's another thing. You could eat all the sweets and candy.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do.
And now a lot of those Targets have like Starbucks in them. You can go get hopped up on a double venti or whatever. But it did get me thinking of the top places where I would want to be locked up in. And the two come to mind. Like, number one, I think a main event would be pretty cool. But I think I'd want to be in there with a buddy because laser tag seems pretty lame by yourself.
Yeah.
Bowling, that's fun. But again, by yourself, not as much fun. Video games, maybe. So I think the number one place for me would be someplace like Bass Pro. think about that for a minute. I would get loaded up in all the camo. I'd grab some 20 gauge shotguns. I'd go over and just start blowing some of those animals away. If you get bored with that, you can fish. I mean, think about that. And then at night, you go over to the camping area. You can set up a little fire.
I know they have hot dogs.
Eat all the rations you want from the camping area. I'm telling you, Bass Pro would be legit.
You know they're opening one down the road from here, right?
Are they?
Yeah, in spring. I want to say it's 45 southbound, so it's like over somewhere in spring. But yeah, they're opening up a new store. And so now we can test your theory.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to stay there and see if I can get locked in overnight. I think every little kid has thought about that, though, right?
Well, I mean, I certainly think, especially if it's a cool location, they're like, oh, I wish I could actually have more time here.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what's cool because, I mean, I've been to, like, the jumping worlds now.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen those places?
Yeah. Like the trampoline,
like
air.
There's climbing
urban
worlds,
air and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I don't really know if that would be fun, but I mean,
it'd be fun for about 20 minutes, but then you're done. It has to be someplace like a department store where you've got food, you've got sporting goods, you got electronics. You can do a little bit of everything.
The mall would be fun.
The mall would be the
So you can like ride your bike like all the way through.
All the way. Get on a Lime scooter or whatever and just go, man.
Go to town.
But I mean, Bass Pro, they have 4-wheelers and stuff. You could ride over stuff. Be awesome. Okay. All right, it's probably a good time to take a break. When we come back, we are finally going to talk about twins.
I got to get started.
I'm sure you do. Audience One, we'll be right back.
Hey there, listener. This is Dick with Audience of One with my buddy Andrew.
I'm here too.
I want to remind you guys real quick that our show is basically a free show.
It is.
But we accept donations and sponsorships.
But it must be really, really hard to sponsor or donate to the show, though.
It's really easy. I put a link in every description of our videos where you can download right then. Oh. It's really easy. And it's 100% legit. We are a 501c3 radio station. So if you want a tax deduction or anything like that, sponsor the show.
It's a good idea.
And donate. That's how we keep the show free and how we're able to buy cool stuff for the studio.
Yeah, and besides that, the show's really good.
That's true. And, yeah. All right, welcome back to Audience of One here on Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com/ALO. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Look up Audience of One show on any podcast format you enjoy. Or you can check us out on the Lone Star Community Radio Network on YouTube and FM 104.5, 106.1, and also our show page, irlonestar.com/ALO. And we're also always accepting donations and sponsorships for our programming. So reach out to us. Again, that website, irlonestar.com/ALO.
All right, that's enough. Please stop.
Oh, you know, that reminds me. I got to send you this funny video.
All right.
And I don't know if we can put it on the show.
Okay.
But
maybe we do it after. I don't know.
No, I'm going to do it while I'm talking. That way I don't forget.
Okay. So, all right. Are you going to do a narrative of said video?
I don't know. It's called Ball Slapping with Tony Campbell. So
this is like Idiocracy.
Troy Casey, sorry.
This is Idiocracy, you know.
So you can look up the video. Oh no, it's clearly like a fake video.
Okay.
But it's just the
You have seen the movie Idiocracy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, where the movie that takes place 500 years in the future, an average man is now suddenly, because he was, I guess, part of a scientific or military experiment to like cryogenically freeze himself. Yeah. He was average intelligence. In today's time, he wakes up in 500 years and he's the smartest man alive. Well, the most popular show on TV was called Ouch My Balls. And that's basically where they do nothing but just kick each other in the balls. And dumb people in the future find this entertaining. So is this what you're sending to me?
No, it's a skit. It's a skit.
Okay.
But check it out. I just sent it to you. And I think hopefully you have a good laugh like I did.
All right. Maybe it makes it to air. I don't know.
So, well, it's also like that. That's one thing, again, with like, with people's humor, it's totally different. And like this whole South by experience, everyone's humor is totally out there. And like we went
you were in Austin too.
We went to like a comedy show, and like one of the comedy shows was so PC, it was hilarious to me. And then I went to like the next one, which it was not PC, and it was.
And I bet it was much more funny.
It was so much more fun.
Of course.
For me.
There's no room for political correctness in comedy, in my opinion. Dick, you remember we talked a few weeks ago about Build-A-Bear, and you had this amazing idea.
Full of them.
Yes, you had this amazing idea that the Build-A-Bear for adults would involve hunting actual bears.
I think that's great. You got to stuff them, man.
Yeah. So you would use actual bear like pelt and meat or whatever. I don't know. In your crazy
I don't know about
idea,
the meat. I mean, I'd eat the meat, but
okay. Yes, of course, to be environmentally conscious.
Yeah, you got to dress it up.
Okay. Well, anyways, this story kind of reminds me of that.
I want a predator bear. So it's the costume is going to be from the movie Predator, but it's going to be on my bear. That would be scary. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it would. It would. Yeah.
Have you ever seen those videos of that taxidermy guy who does art with rats?
Oh, yes. Yes, he's in New York.
It's really creepy stuff.
I don't know about really creepy, but yeah, because there's a ton of rats in New York. I believe we're talking about two different guys.
Well, no, this guy would do taxidermy, but then he'd like create this art piece of rats,
Maybe not.
And he would put like fake doll hands on them.
Oh my God, no!
It's pretty wild.
I may have to look that up. Well, I want to
say it was rats.
In a case that is almost cinematic in its audacity, a Montana man has pled guilty to federal charges for a nearly decade-long conspiracy to genetically engineer, get this, giant hybrid sheep species.
So he's in trouble?
Arthur Jack Schubarth, 80, admitted to the wildlife crimes before a federal judge, acknowledging his role in a scheme designed to create and sell hybrid sheep to hunting preserves. So this dude apparently has been creating some alternate weird genetic mutation sheep.
I'm totally down.
So that people can go out and shoot them, which I didn't realize that sheep were something that you would, I guess, hunt, right? I know people have hunt ram. I've seen them mounted on a wall before. I don't know that I've ever seen a sheep head mounted on a wall.
I want to say there's some crazy number, like over 100 species of sheep or something like that. Well,
these are like genetic mutant sheep.
I'll see why not.
Yeah, it says the Department of Justice described his scheme as audacious, which involved importing parts of the Marco Polo agro sheep from Kyrgyzstan illegally and subsequently using their genetic material to create cloned embryos. This guy was going in. I imagine some of those hunting preserves, big money, right? Like these guys pay big bucks. Oh, yeah. I want to shoot a mutant sheep. I'll give you $15,000.
Again, my Build-A-Bear idea,
right? That's what I'm saying.
Does have a foundation of money-making possibilities.
I agree, but you can't shoot bears, so it's going to have to be some genetic mutant. Not like you can freely a deer. You can't go get a bear hunting license.
Yeah, you can.
Right? When's bear season?
I know there's bear season in Oregon. I know there's a bear season there.
You can just go out and shoot bears?
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah, it just depends on where they're overpopulated.
Yeah, I guess because we don't have bears here, so I don't think about that. You want to shoot a sheep? You want to shoot a mutant sheep?
Well, that's part of the Build-A-Bear. Like, right. Build-A-Bears don't just have bears, don't they?
No, of course. They've got all kinds of different animals.
So we can do all sorts of animals. Like
you genetically alter these things to make them cute so that you can shoot them to make the bear out of them.
Yeah, and what's great is, like, the stuffing process is very visual.
Oh, yeah, I bet it is.
So it's like, how do we get this 600-pound bear and stuff it full of cotton? And it goes right up the bum.
Yeah, indeed it does. It said he's been doing this, I said almost for a decade, between 2013 and 2021, and he breached both international laws and local laws. Man, this dude is in some trouble. I guess you got to be careful about it when you create your mutant bears.
I mean, I'm interested to know the thought process behind it, because if you're just kind of one of those weirdos that's smart, but it sounded more like he was doing fraud.
I think it's just illegal to genetically mutate an animal, right? And then sell it for these type of means. I believe that's the problem. I mean, it says he can face a maximum of 5 years in prison.
They do that with dogs already. No, but that's just through natural crossbreeding, though, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's through. Yeah, no one's genetically altering them. Well, they are in a lab. I guess
they are processing them.
Yeah, and you're certainly not hunting them. Maybe it's the hunting part that's really
interesting.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe you have to have a license to do this. I don't know. We have a story about dogs here at the end of the show. Maybe that's some foreshadowing. Okay, speaking of foreshadowing, twins talk. We kind of teased a little bit. We were going to talk about twins last week. We didn't have enough time, and you said, Oh, I've got some twin stories. So you grew up with twins, apparently.
Yeah.
And these were your best friends.
Yeah.
You called one of them like Wiggle Bear or something? What'd you call him? Nubbin or something?
No.
You had a name for one of them.
Well, that was the only thing, because I think he had like it almost like looked like a BB from like a BB gun stuck in his ear.
Okay.
So like when we first started hanging out, that's how I could tell the major difference between the two brothers. Was like one has the little BB.
Was that really the only difference?
I mean, after hanging out with him for a year,
you start to notice.
You just notice everything. Yeah.
So twins don't weird you out, because I know some people are like afraid of them, which to me seems silly.
No.
Like, what do you mean afraid of them?
No, I mean, I think what would really weird me out, instead of twins, is like a normal thing to me. But if it's like 5 of them,
oh wow,
that would be nuts.
It's a little weird. Whatever
that's called. That's not quintuple. What is it?
I think it is quintuple. No? Yeah.
But see, that would kind of weird me out a little bit. Because I mean, how many twins are there?
2.5.
Well, a bit more of like, they're not called twins anymore after that. It's
right.
Like quintuples.
No. Right.
That would really weird me out. If like you're having dinner with your buddies, and 5 of them all look the same.
I've known some twins in my life. I was never weirded out by them. And you're right, you do get to the point where you can tell them apart. But most recently, there for a stretch between the years of maybe 2014, 2018, I was attending the TPC Valero Open in San Antonio, the golf championship.
Yeah.
And one year I looked over and saw these 2 younger ladies. They were probably in their early 20s, obviously twin, identical. Okay, no big deal. But they were dressed exactly the same. Accessories from the hair bow to the purse to their socks to their shoes, exactly the same. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't say anything to it. My brother-in-law, whoever I was there with, didn't say anything. The next year, we go back, and I see them again. So these girls were obviously golf fans. That's fine. So am I. And they were dressed exactly the same.
I mean, there's nothing wrong
And I think
with
I saw them on the same hole again. No, I do think, especially if you're not 4 and you're a twin, you don't need to be dressed the same. You just don't. That's when I started to think there might be something wrong with these girls.
I mean, the dress-up thing is kind of
But I'm not a twin. I don't get it. So maybe it's just their thing.
My buddies never dress up the same, besides on their wedding days.
It seemed a little immature to me. I don't know. And then again, the third year, I saw him for 3 years straight at this tournament, and every year dressed the same. Well, this story from MSN is kind of crazy. Made news last week that a Minnesota woman was formally charged in connection to a crash that killed 2 children riding in an Amish buggy. Sorry, it's not funny, but it sounds kind of funny. In September 2023, after her identical twin sister allegedly tried to take the fall for her. This is crazy. So I guess this Samantha Jo Peterson, she says she's charged with 21 crimes, including multiple counts of criminal vehicular homicide, driving under the influence of drugs into this in connection with the September 25th crash. So I guess she's hammered. She slams into the back of this buggy, kills some people, gets out the phone and says, "Sis, you gotta help me, I'm hammered." And the sister shows up and takes the blame? And I guess because you're identical in the way you look, it's easy to pull off. But man, if I'm a twin, I ain't doing that. Are you taking the blame for your twin for committing any sort of crime for this? It's fun if you're doing like practical jokes and stuff, but my God.
Well, I mean, it's also something that I could see her saying, like, "I'm drunk, you're not. You won't really get that much trouble."
Well, no, I think you get more trouble, don't you?
No, because it's probably involuntary manslaughter or something, and there's so many people.
Well, 21 charges, that's a lot.
Yeah. So good luck.
Yeah, I don't know. I have heard there was stories similar to this where someone was inadvertently put like behind bars for 10, 15, 20 years, and it turns out it wasn't him that did it, it was his twin, something like that.
Oh, is that like a SVU episode?
Yeah, probably. No, I mean, there's
been
actual, I think, cases of that.
Maybe.
I don't know. But I wouldn't do that. I'm sorry to my twin. I'd be like, "Dude, you're on your own." Maybe. I know we're close and all, and we got like the same freckle in the same spot, but guess what? You're going to jail for that, bud, not me.
Going to jail for that, bud.
So I thought you said you had a funny twin story. No? I mean, last week you were ready to talk about it. And then I'm like, all right, we'll do it this week. And
you don't know. For on the air.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Never mind then.
No. I know, I remember them doing, this, my good buddies, I remember them talking about, especially when we were in college together, they would help each other out with attendance.
Okay, yeah.
So
you go.
I knew that was like, so if like one guy wanted to go out of town, be like, he had to be at this class.
Sure.
He'd be like, hey, can you just go there, just check in, and just be there for an hour and a half? That way I can leave.
Do you ever want to do the switcheroo with the girlfriend?
I don't know if they ever did that.
I totally would.
Well, see, that's what I loved about those guys is they were totally, like, they weren't complete opposites, but it was enough to where, like, especially in preferences and, like, food and clothing,
right.
Like, they were two different people to me, especially with the girlfriends. Because one always liked the crazy ones, and then the other one always had the serious ones. And so that was a great dynamic because you have to go out on a double date or go to see the family, and so like the crazy one, it was always never mixed well with the serious one. And
would you be okay dating a twin?
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
That wouldn't weird you out. Like you find somebody like, oh man, I'm attracted to this girl. It's great. You're getting to know her, and she goes, by the way, I have a twin. And you're like, yeah, rock and roll.
Nah, I'd be like, Barney back,
because
dog.
The thing is, she knows you're attracted to her sister. She knows it. By default, she knows.
See, my go-to is to make fun of the scenario as much as possible because that's the only way it can be accepted as normal. And I would make a lot of jokes about.
You would have to, make light of the subject.
I already know. I'll be talking about haircuts because I already get in trouble about haircuts when it comes to women. So it's like,
I know you like Catherine too. I know you're attracted. No, sweetie, not at all.
I like her haircut though.
You don't like me then? Are you not attracted to me then? I mean, because.
Yeah,
it makes for an interesting dynamic. You're right. It would have to be out there in the open.
I'm like, she's a little thinner than you.
Yeah, good call.
I'm going for it, man. Might as well just get in trouble. But no, I wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah. So in this story, when officers arrived, obviously both of them were on the scene, and the sober sister insisted that she was the one driving the buggy. No, not the one who's stumbling drunk over there puking in the ditch. No. She wasn't driving. It was me. I promise.
It was me.
I promise.
That's a great story. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, this one, particularly funny. An at-home DNA test... Oh, my God. An at-home DNA testing kit for dogs has claimed that human saliva returned various dog breed results. Love it. So basically, I didn't know this existed, by the way. You know those 21andMe DNA things?
It's probably for dogs, too.
Well, right. Apparently, they have them for dogs.
And sheep now.
Yeah, apparently. That's how they found out. Have you ever done one of these DNA testing things? I haven't either. Are you scared too? Do you not want to know?
I just don't care.
Do you not want to know the true results?
I just don't care.
No? I mean, I guess I kind of want to know, but I don't want my DNA floating around out there because that goes into a central system. And you're the guy who doesn't want your fingerprints out there. I'm sure you don't want your DNA floating around, although it is flung all over.
It's not necessarily I don't like it. I just want to understand why you need it. And if you can't give me a good answer, then I'm not going to give you my fingerprint.
Okay, that's true. You did say that.
This is just for getting a new ID. Like, why would you need my fingerprint for a replacement ID?
When you run into the back of the Amish buggy and kill some people.
It was really weird because I can understand if I sign up to be an organ donor or something, and then that's the process where it's like, hey, you're an organ donor. We need some thumbprints and stuff like that because we want to make sure it's you that we're like giving your organs away, that it's okay to do that. So I can see that.
I do think it's funny.
I am an organ donor.
I've heard these stories of people who are kind of like defined by their heritage or what they assume their heritage is. Growing up, they always believed that they were Irish, right? I'm Irish and this and that. And they go get one of these tests done. It come to find out they're like 2% Irish and they're actually like Pakistani or something. And they realize, oh, that sort of persona that I've been putting on this whole time is all fake.
It's also interesting because they give you percentages. So it's like there's no way the data can give you percentages of like how many percentage of my blood or DNA is this X thing.
Yeah.
The world has changed drastically over the years it's been around. So it's like, oh, did you know you're from Alaska? I'm like, well, at one point, like Alaska was joined with another continent
Russia.
So it's like, might as well call me Russian because it's connected.
They apparently do this for dogs as well, which I think is a little... That's pushing the boundaries here because dogs, it's not like you have races of dogs, right? Yeah. They're all basically the same. They're just, they're different breeds, but they're all dogs in the end. But apparently this one lady decided to test it and she swabbed her own saliva to 3 different companies. 2 of them came back saying not enough or insufficient data, but one of them said, nuh-uh, you're 28% bulldog, 40% border collie, and 32% cane corso.
There you go.
She sounds like a real bitch. Anyways.
That was such a terrible joke.
Yeah, well.
Terrible.
That is pretty funny, though, that she tested it. And this one company, I think they're saying...
I want to meet this
It's called DNA My Dog. They're like, no. We promise. No, our results, we stand by our results. They're accurate. She is definitely Border Collie.
I like Border Collies.
They are good dogs.
So,
I mean, if you're gonna date a woman, right, you would want her results to be more border because she's agile and quick. Does that turn you on?
And she can find stuff. And she's a heel snapper. I like that. Got to get me going in the morning.
How about that bulldog? She's 28% bulldog.
That's at night.
What does that do for you? Yeah. I have no idea about the Cane Corso.
She's gonna be with me at Build-A-Bear, the adult Build-A-Bear.
Oh man, I would love to have done that though. I guess she's got. I guess
you
can
technically still do it.
Well, yeah, I guess. But again, now my DNA is floating around out there.
Well, what I would like to do is do the reverse. Go to 23andMe and do my dog.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Send in my dog.
Gotcha.
DNA.
Well, right. And see what they say?
Yeah.
He's Scottish. Oh, he's terrier, I guess, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
But cool.
Yeah. So, Dick, are you a fan of chocolate?
I'm really hungry right now.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm starved.
I'm about to admit something here on the air that will probably shock and awe most people.
Love it.
I myself am allergic to chocolate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't think I've mentioned that.
I'm going to get you so good, too.
Yeah. I don't know that I've mentioned that here on the air
I'll
before.
get you a calendar of chocolate.
Just chocolate?
It's chocolate.
And when I tell people that, they lose their mind. Like, oh my God, that's the most horrible thing in the world.
So you can never go to heaven?
That's not, no,
Oh,
not dogs, not now. Chocolate. All dogs go to heaven.
But yeah, people who can't eat chocolate, never taste chocolate, don't know what heaven is.
Oh, I see where you're going.
So,
I mean, I can taste it. I can have a little bit of it, and of course, I like it. But it is people, I mean, it's funny to see people's reaction to that when I tell them that, because they freak, oh my God, I would die. And I'm like, well, it's not like I'm allergic to milk or wheat or something that's in, or tomatoes or peanuts that are in everything. At least chocolate is kind of isolated to one portion of the food group, right? The food pyramid. It's down in the corner, the dessert corner. So I can stay away from it fairly easy and live a somewhat normal life. Well, I guess I have not been feeling the squeeze here because I don't buy chocolate, but apparently chocolate prices are going through the roof.
okay.
Have you noticed that when you're buying your
No, I don't really buy chocolate.
your Mounds or your what's
I very
your
rarely
Twix?
buy chocolate. Very rarely.
You steal it instead?
No, I just don't really eat chocolate.
No?
No.
Why not? I mean, if I could, I would.
I mean, I can and I don't. So
So your reaction wouldn't be the same as when I tell other people, "Oh my God, I die."
not that big of a
You'd be
deal.
like, "Oh, whatever."
I
Well,
mean, I like a good chocolate bar, but it's not like I'm going to the store to buy chocolate bars. It's very rare that I'm like, oh, I'm craving.
mm-hmm.
That, you know what? The only thing I like, I do like Twix ice cream bars.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually ate one last night because I bought it.
Look at you go.
I bought it probably about 4 months ago, and I was like, "Did these things go bad?" And so
I mean, eventually, everything goes bad eventually.
Obligated to eat it.
Hell, even we go bad eventually.
Not me, man. Have you not seen this?
Just getting better with age, like fine wine.
Farm to table, dude.
Higher prices can be attributed to some of the struggling cocoa. Is it cocoa or cocoa? It's got cacao.
It's A-O-O.
You're right, cacao. But some of the key ingredients that go into some of your favorite chocolate bars are also driving up the cost. Have you noticed that some of these traditional, I guess, chocolatiers, chocolate makers have been making like combinations of things where it's not all just straight chocolate, where they may have something that's like a swirl with caramel in it or something mixed with a strawberry in the middle, and that's all because of the rising prices, so they can use less of it but still sell it as a chocolate product.
Interesting.
Yep, this season the cocoa yields are underwhelming, likely due to a crop disease and heavy rain. So I guess they need rain, obviously, but not too much.
I don't know.
Well, I don't have to worry about it, but apparently them chocolate prices are rising, Dick.
Okay. Well, I mean, why don't they just make fake chocolate? I feel like everyone's
genetically engineered fake
everyone's
chocolate.
making fake everything. I saw an ad for fake diamonds, basically. And it had a bunch of famous people on it, and I'm thinking, like, is anyone kind of bothered by, like, the only reason diamonds are somewhat priced is based off of, like, the rarity of them?
Right.
But then now you're telling everyone we can just make them.
Just 3D print it.
And it's like, I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a diamond, like, if you're already making them.
Yeah.
It's like, I want mine blood. I want mine to have blood
right,
on
of course.
And
I want people to have died for it
have
in
a
mine.
history of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. It does kind of remind me of like a cryptocurrency. If you can just mine it. Now, some of them do have an upper limit where you can stop, but some of them don't, like Dogecoin. How's your Dogecoin doing, by the way? You can just, it's never ending. It's infinite. You can continue to make it. So my thought is, well, doesn't that devalue it? And you're right. If you could just get into a lab and make diamonds, yeah.
So I'm saying it kind of weirded me out because it's like we're making a statement these are lab grown.
You know,
like buy lab grown, and then like, you go to the website and it's really expensive.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute.
Like,
now it is cheaper though, I think, than like regular diamonds, so it has to be. And I would think you being so frugal would think this is a good alternative. Earth friendly.
Don't care.
Speaking of earth friendly, I put this on our show website or Facebook page. There is a push for farm-grown python as the, quote, meat of the future.
I can see it.
Yeah, apparently you can genetically...
They grow pretty fast.
They grow pretty fast. The meat is apparently good tasting, although I ain't eating any python.
It's not bad. I've eaten snake before,
have you now?
I've never eaten a python.
Well, do you think it's going to taste different? This is more like coral snake. This little gamey.
It might.
Do you think they taste different? Different snakes taste different?
Pythons are a lot bigger, so I imagine they're a little fattier.
Well, that's the thing, is they're extremely lean, right? And, of course, they don't take nearly... So I think you can feed them like once a month. They hardly drink any water, hardly eat anything, grow fast, so they're environmentally conscious. And apparently they're lean and fill you up. So python, the meat of the future.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
So would you rather eat python or some of that genetically fake created lab meat that we talked about several months ago?
I try both.
No, but which one would you rather?
Both.
I'm doing fake meat. I ain't eating a snake, man.
I think
that's nasty.
Make me feel like a caveman. I love it.
I don't. Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't get it past the.
You're a wimp.
Yeah, I kind of am. I kind of am when it comes to that, man. I'm not eating snake. I don't care if you tell me it tastes like chicken, which is what I've heard. It tastes like. Why is that? Why does everything taste like chicken, Dick?
Probably because people keep saying it tastes like that, so you're easily persuaded.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, tastes like whatever.
To
me, it's not really flavor when it comes to this. It's more of texture. Because like if you're eating alligator, or it's just chewier.
Right.
So you could say like everything tastes like chicken, but I don't think everything tastes like chicken. It just tastes like chewier meat.
A chewier version of chicken?
Yeah, or just meat in general.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I'm standing by that, but
I'm really hungry. So if we keep talking about pythons, like I'm gonna
go eat one.
I'm gonna go find one. Hungry, man.
All right, sorry. I won't bring up python anymore. All right, man, this is our quick hit here at the end of the show. I always ask you this, and the answer is always no, but I'm going to continue out of the sake of tradition. Are you familiar with who Bill Morgan is?
No.
I love it. I pull out the most random names.
No.
You're like, no, I have no idea. Well, he's an Australian man who, I don't want to spoil the surprise here. But Bill Morgan was from Australia. In 1998, he was only 37 years old, and he was involved in a car crash. Nearly killed him.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Does he have a twin?
Right. Yeah. So the site that I wanted to go to for this was very, very well written, and I think it got blocked here at the city. So I'm going to kind of do this from off the fly, or a wiki page. It isn't nearly as good. But apparently he had an allergic reaction to the drugs that he was used during his recovery. He had a nearly fatal heart attack and was declared dead for 14 minutes and 38 seconds before being revived. Yeah, sounds sad, but I like to do happy stories here at the end of the show. He actually, after this, went into a coma for 12 days. Crazy. However, he survived and came out of it, living a fairly normal life. After 12 months after this crash and this incident, he went to a local convenience store and bought a scratch-off ticket and won a Toyota Corolla, valued at about $19,000, $20,000 at the time. Pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a turn of luck. I nearly die. Scratch off a lotto ticket 12 months later. I got a free car. Well, one of the local outlets decided to do a story on him and said, hey, this is an amazing story. We want to recreate this little scene that you did here where you got scratched off the ticket, blah, blah, blah. They also wanted to recreate the car crash, but that was apparently too traumatic for him. That part I just made up. And so he said, sure, he's being a good sport. Goes to the convenience store, buys a ticket. As he's scratching off to reenact the amazing moment, he wins $250,000 right there live on TV. Unreal. So would you, I guess, go through the terrible trauma of nearly dying, being in a coma for 12 days, if you knew at the other end of the rainbow you were going to scratch off that sweet Toyota Corolla and $250,000?
I feel like I just experienced listening to that story.
Yeah, sorry. Again, I thought the story was great, but it was the cybersecurity scrub here at the city, I think, that screwed me up there.
No, so. I think it's
but it's a crazy story, man.
It's good for him.
And there's actual video of him out there starting to cry. He turns around, he goes, "I just won $250,000." Of course, they thought he was joking.
And he's like, "No, I actually won." No, I think one of my favorite.
And then he had a heart attack and died.
Are you serious?
No, but I thought maybe that would make the story better. He did say, "I think I'm going to have a heart attack again."
No, I think there's a video out there of a guy being interviewed.
I have to make it morbid. Now you're interested. Wait, what?
He's being interviewed for scratch-offs, and he's like, basically straight up tells the lady, "Yeah, I'm going to get hookers and blow." And he's like, "I think he either won." And he's like, "I'm going to get so..." He's like, "What are you going to do with the winnings?" "I'm going to get hookers and blow."
At least he's honest, right? At least he's honest.
Well, I guess that's kind of neat, though, for this guy to have, like, 3 cool stories in his pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, he can say, like, "I almost died." And then he can say, like, "I won a Camry. And I won $250,000.
Yep. Pretty cool story.
And then I'd be like, "Sir, what did you actually do to earn something?"
"I nearly died."
Because I don't think any of those things count as, like, actually doing something with your life. You just kind of, like, stumbled onto that.
Yes, definitely stumbled into greatness there. Well, I think he's still alive, by the way. I love on his wiki page, it just says born 1961 or 1962. No way to verify.
There's, I mean,
but we know the exact date he had an accident.
It might be a leap year.
Stuff. Yeah, he might be a leap baby. All right, Dick, that is all we have got time for today, buddy. Aww. I'm so glad that we got to do a show together after our 2-week hiatus.
It's good to be back. Good to I need to eat something.
Yeah, you're fading. That's okay, bud.
It's just
next week.
What should I eat? There's so many good things out there.
We'll talk to Eddie about
Python's going to be good. I want some python. With the side of like a Build-A-Bear meat. And then what else?
Maybe Bar ABQ can fix you up something nice, some nice python. All right, buddy, next week.